I'm Kay Bess, and this is the Beehive. Women in voiceover, the voices of the fairer sex that keep the wheels of commerce and creativity moving in this country. Voices you hear every day, but names you likely don't know until now. Hey everybody, welcome to the Beehive. My guest today, oh my goodness, is Cissy Jones. Cissy played Katya in the video game Walking Dead Season 1, several characters in the Walking Dead franchise altogether. She narrated the Academy Award-nominated documentary Winter on Fire, and she plays Delilah in the award-winning video game Firewatch, for which she just won the BAFTA Award for Best Performance. Welcome to the Beehive, Cissy Jones.
Yowza. Thanks for having me, Miss Kay Bess.
Me and Cissy. Cissy Jones, Cissy Jones, Cissy Jones, Cissy Jones.
Well, don't make it creepy.
Sorry. No creep factor there. Okay. So I usually start these things with, how did you get started in voiceover? But I just can't do that. I want to know about your BAFTA. And I want to know what that experience was like. Because there aren't that many award things for voiceover people.
So you can confirm that actually happened.
It did happen.
Okay, because I'm still not sure.
No, it did. It happened. You had a beautiful dress on and you had your hair all done really nice. And I saw it on YouTube. That's how I know it's real.
Ooh, okay.
I saw your acceptance speech on YouTube, which was awesome. But we will get back to how you got started in voiceover. But it's very exciting. I mean, because the BAFTA is like, it's like an Oscar. I mean, the BAFTAs are British, and they're like Oscars in that they do give awards for film, television, but they also have a video game.
They added a video game component. Yeah, the Brits know how to do it. They do it upright.
Just awesome. Yeah. So, what was that like? I want to live through you.
I don't remember, but apparently I jumped about 30 feet in the air and I screamed "Holy SHIT" when they announced my name, because I was not expecting to win it. It's not like they separate out the men from the women. So
you had some stiff competition there.
Some incredible, the other actors on that list are just phenomenal actors, and they had been winning all the things leading up to it. And so I did not expect it. I am immensely grateful and unbelievably shocked, but it was amazing. It was really, really wonderful. I mean, it was great too, because so the team that made Firewatch lives in San Francisco. I'm here in Los Angeles, so I don't get to see them. I spent a lot of time on the phone with them during the recording sessions.
Yeah.
But to actually get to go to London with some of the team and spend time together and hang out and play and then not only win for best performance, but have them win for best debut.
Yeah.
It was...
Wow, so was that their first game?
That was their first game.
Oh my God, this is Campo Santos, right? Is that
Campo Santo?
Campo Santo.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Campo Santo.
Campo Santo.
Yeah.
Because we're in Los Angeles.
Because we're in Los Angeles. We go to Los Gatos.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's their first.
It was really, truly something awesome.
Big things for them coming too.
I hope so. They deserve it.
And so you got to fly to London.
I flew to London. I stayed in a nice hotel. It was great. It was so much fun. And then, I got to play in London for a couple of days, and I got to hang out with the team, and I got to meet other people, and I met people that I'd befriended on Twitter, and then we hung out.
Yeah. No, that's great. You do sort of feel like you become, kind of friends with people sometimes, via all this social media stuff. That's fantastic.
It was really fun.
And what kind of an effect has it had since you've gotten home on your career?
It's definitely, there's been a lot of work that's been coming, which is nice. There's also a lot more people that are like, oh, you were the person in the thing with the mountains. So that's been, it's been nice, because it was like a 4-year process from when they approached me about the role to when the game released to now. It's been a while, and it's been a very personal journey. Also, while I have been building my career. So it's nice to kind of have that to go, yeah, I did this thing.
Did that, yeah.
Look at this.
Well, what's amazing is that you've been doing voiceover for just, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah. So that's extraordinary. And I think I happen to know this about Cissy, that Cissy comes from the corporate world in Silicon Valley. And so you have a degree in business.
And
Spanish. So you have a real sense of business about you, which in voiceover these days is really important.
It's really come in handy. It's surprising to me how many people think, oh, well, I've got an agent. They'll take care of everything. No, you have to keep track of it. And it's your job to do your marketing and to keep your website up to date, which I've done terribly.
To keep your relationships alive.
And to keep your relationships and to hustle and to keep track of your payments and your mileage and all this other stuff that a lot of creative types kind of gloss over.
Yeah, I think we often feel ill-equipped, as if it can't be learned, which is just not the case.
Well, it's a different muscle.
It is. It's a different muscle. You just got to go to that particular gym. We can take voiceover classes and we can, learn how to do animation and we can learn how to read a promo, but we also have to learn how to market.
Yeah.
And we have to learn social media.
I think I was just talking with somebody about that the other day, how they were like, I have a BFA from XYZ Fancy Pants School, but there was never like a class on business for actors or, running a business for actors. Which is astounding. Which is pretty, because you are running a business.
Yeah.
Like my business is what you are hearing.
Yeah.
And that's the source of all of my income. And how do I protect that business and how do I run that business and how do I make that business continue to be profitable?
Yeah.
But it's also super fun.
It is fun. But when you run a business, there are parts of your business that are not fun, but you still have to engage them.
Otherwise, we're looking at taxes.
Yeah. Otherwise, your business isn't going to fly.
Yeah.
And if there's something in particular that you're not very good at, hire someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a newbie to work in social media. I'm getting better at it. But frankly, I hired a fabulous social media marketing networking guy who's taught me about all of those things. And it's an investment,
It's an investment and it's a new muscle.
Yeah, it's a new muscle. And and frankly, it's one I'm exercising, which is great. So, which is just to say that we all can do that. It's just our willingness to become informed.
Totally.
Right. About what we need. You've been doing this for 6 years. You've had some fantastic roles in big old franchises in gaming, but you also do commercial work and you do narration as well. And you've done some promos, right? You've done a couple of trailers as well, movie trailers, which is still really quite the
And I just recorded
the male world. But
I just recorded one of my first animated shows that's going to be coming out, I think at the end of the year. And I don't know if I can say the name of it, but
was it a
really
recurring role? Or?
It was a recurring character. So I'm going to be at least in 6 episodes that I know of, and then just kind of sprinkled around.
Well, that is exciting too. So man, you've achieved quite a lot in a short period of time. So because these are all kind of dreamy jobs, still you keep dreaming. So
always.
So what would you say at this point in your young career is your dream voiceover job?
All the things.
All the things. You want all the things.
I want all the things. I would say the dreamiest of the dreams would be, just a ballsy, badass character on a recurring character. Thank you very much. On a network animated show like The Simpsons or Family Guy or something like that. Just someone fun where you get to go play and be a goofball and have a great time. Because that's what this job is. There's always the ditch digging type work that you do to pay the bills, but to have fun, oh man.
It's a fun job. And at the same time, sometimes there are jobs that drive us a little nutty. And it's interesting because when you do love what you do, and when what you do often takes 15 minutes out of an hour, it must sound to others outside like, really? So you had a rough day in the studio? But there are some jobs that they needle you, and they're frustrating in that regard because you feel like you can't.
And I would also counter that and say that our job, our quote unquote job, is not to do the job well.
Yeah.
Because by the time you get to the job, you're getting a paycheck. Our job is to audition well. And auditions are time consuming and unpaid, and they're numerous. And I think, when I first started 6 years ago, I heard that for every 125 national television union commercials. Now, this was 6 years ago, and National TV Union are the ones that pay the bills. I mean, they pay some good money.
Yeah.
For every 125 of those that you audition, you book one. And I'm sure that ratio has only gone up since then.
And I think if you're a working person, I mean, there are a lot of people who never book any of them.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah. And
That's the average.
And even so, national network spots are fewer and further between because of media buys, the change in media buys. Now, I want to say the last two national, quote unquote network spots I did, one was for Motel 6 and one was for Hidden Valley Ranch, and they just ran on cable. With every once in a while, they would run at 2 a.m. on a network on a Saturday early in the morning. And so they're not it used to be, I think, where you could, if you booked a national network commercial, it was kind of like, well, you're going to at least make $50,000 that year for that.
Right.
That doesn't, it's like,
I have a friend whose uncle
doesn't happen much anymore.
He took about 20 years out of the business. And when he was getting back in to acting, my friend's husband does a lot of like on-camera commercial stuff. And he was like, well, I think I'm going to do on-camera commercials again. They're still like $100,000 a pop? And it was like, oh, that's cute.
It's cute. Yeah. Yeah. That was in 1984. I think the last time that was really working out for actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to give this impression also. It's like, oh, you do one job and it pays you $50,000. No, you might get one of those every 6 years.
Yeah.
For the most part, unless you're really prolific.
Or you're a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're a celebrity. So what kind of odd jobs have you had?
Oh man,
in your life?
I was a snow cone shack girl for a little while. Yeah, let that sink in.
Yeah.
I've been a waitress. I've been a hostess. I worked in corporate for 10 years. I did, I was an assistant. I was a personal assistant. I did office management. I was a recruiter. I did marketing. I did sales. Startups. You wear all the hats.
That's quite a list.
Yeah. And so when I made the legit switch to voiceover, I was like, this is it. I'm either going to do this 100% or not. And if this doesn't work out, I will be bagging groceries at Trader Joe's because there's nothing else I want to do.
Yeah.
I would also say, with the caveat that I do like to volunteer. Like I've volunteered with the Special Olympics quite a bit, and I enjoy doing that a lot.
Yeah. You are a parent.
I am.
You have 2 children. How do you manage? How do you manage being a parent with a full-time, seriously active voiceover career?
A lot of wine. No, I have a very supportive...
Mommy's little helper.
I know. I have a really supportive partner. My husband is really great at stepping in and helping out with the kids. I also have agents that understand sometimes I'm going to need to wiggle around, bath time or time to take the kids to school or whatever. And they're great. I think at this point, everyone has access to my calendar so I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
But, every now and then, especially for like trailer work, you get the call at, 7:00 at night. Hey, we need this by 7:15. And it's like, well, give me a minute. I got to get my kids, clean. And
or at least locked in the closet,
right.
so they won't
change the diaper. Yeah. So, but for the most part, everyone's been really cool about it. But it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a circus act.
What is the most important lesson that you've learned as a voice actor, being in the creative arts?
I would say that what a lot of people don't understand is that being talented is the benchmark. Like that's the entry point. You have to understand copy and find a way to present it interestingly and believably. That is talent. After that, it is your job to hustle. And it is a lot of hustle. I happen to enjoy it. I'm very social. I like being around people and hanging out with people and getting to know them. But for a lot of our, I keep wanting to say comrades. But maybe that's not the best
comrades,
word.
yes.
Comrades. Who might be a little more introverted, that can be a real challenge. And so that's something that I've really tried to help my friends with who may otherwise not want to do that. But it's also something that I've realized since I moved to LA is a key component of making yourself someone that people want to work with.
Yeah, it is a, speaking as an introvert, I know that it is something that I certainly have to be really conscious about stepping outside of that. I'd rather be at home and I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
not engage, but you got to do it.
There was something I learned in the corporate world, and that was who you know will get you to the door and what you know will get you through. And so I think
good little nugget.
It is. There's your soundbite.
Right.
But I think that's a really important thing to remember, that even when you're calling to schedule an appointment or whatever, like, you never know who you're talking to. So I was an assistant at a venture capital firm, right? I answered the phones. I took meeting pitches from people all day and all night long. And my boss said to me, there was this one entrepreneur who was particularly aggressive and very rude to me. And my boss said to me, if you were to bring him in, would you bring him in? And I said, do you want my honest answer? And he said, yeah. And I said, no, he's been incredibly rude to me. And he said, if he's rude to you, who else do you think he's going to piss off?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And that made a huge impression on me, because you never know. You never know who you're talking to.
Right.
You may think it's just an assistant or just a receptionist or just a casting associate or whatever, but you never know. You never know where they're going to go, and you never know what they're going to remember. And it doesn't hurt you to be nice. It just doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's a classic story of agents, huge, high-powered agents at monstrous talent agencies, presidents of record labels who start in the mailroom.
Yep.
That's just a classic story. And it's true of agents. I mean, several of the agents I know in the business at different agencies, because I've been around so long, I know that they came in as assistants.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're agents.
Exactly.
And they're great agents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very true. There's and it really does just come down to just be nice.
Yeah. Life's too short to be an asshole. Just don't do it.
Yeah. And it's just a good way to live your life. And it's just a happy consequence at the end of it, that if you're nice and you meet somebody, 10 years later that you, happen to be a receptionist, but you were nice to them. It's like, yeah.
It all comes back, man.
It all comes back.
It all comes back.
I'm fascinated with people's struggles. As if you've listened to this podcast, this is sort of like always the pivotal question to me, because I'm interested in the human condition and overcoming, and we all fall down, and who among us is willing to get back up? That's kind of, I'm just fascinated by that. So I'm just curious if you have a pivotal moment in your life, in your career, where you thought, I don't know how to get up, but somehow you managed.
Yeah, there are two, specifically with my career. One was when I was working in the Silicon Valley, and I felt like every time my alarm clock went off in the morning, the first thought through my head was something I should probably not repeat on air, but I was miserable. I knew I was on a right, quote unquote, path. I knew I would be climbing the ladder, but I hated it. I was paid well, but I hated it. And I went, my now husband and I went to Alaska, and we were on the open ocean for 9 days on a boat with some family, and we were talking about dream jobs. And I said, God, I want to be a voice on The Simpsons. It just looks like it's so much fun. And my aunt, who is just this amazing angel in my life, and she said, well, how do you do that? And I said, I honestly don't know. I think you just have to be in Hollywood. I didn't even know it was called voiceover. And not 2 weeks later, I was home on one of those mornings getting ready for work, and Nancy Cartwright, who's the voice of Bart Simpson, came on the radio to promote the Simpsons movie. Mm-hmm. And she started talking about a nearby school, a voiceover school. And she said, voiceover is the best job on the planet. You guys in the Bay Area, you're so lucky you've got this school. I called that day. I started taking classes that week. 2 years later, I quit my job and went full-time into voiceover. The second part of that is once I moved to Los Angeles, I got my agent while I was living in the Bay Area. And then, my husband and I decided to make the move here. And it's a different beast. In San Francisco, I booked out the gate. The Walking Dead was my first job. And then I had another game. And then I had some commercials. And then I had some narration. And it was like, bam, bam, bam. And LA, LA is not that way. It takes a long time for people to get familiar with your name, with the consistency of your auditions and your talent, and to trust you, to want to bring you in.
Right.
And so I was in this massive dry spell, and my husband was still commuting to the Bay Area. And I just had this moment of like, oh my God, this is all me. We're here, and it's and it's because of me. And my husband is gone, and he's traveling, and blah. And my agent, Dean Pinero, who I adore with every fiber of my being, called me up and he said, You're so desperate to book. I smell it in your slate. If I smell it, they smell it. No one hires desperation. And he was abso-freaking-lutely right. And I snapped out of it and I started taking, some workshops and some classes where I could. And not long after, I booked a job that I still have to this day, recording weekly. Because there's talent, there's hustle, there's also confidence. If you don't have confidence, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be sure of who you are.
Because nobody wants a needy person in the booth.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about how many bills you have to pay, right. Because they've all got their own stuff going on.
Yeah.
You have to find confidence.
Hence what do I want to say? I guess it just boils down to really knowing who you are, what skill you possess, and then the willingness to put yourself out there. And I think this is, your story is a really good example of when things aren't going well. Mm-hmm. What do? Do you shrink? Do you get cocky? Do you say, well, I should have booked blah, blah, blah? Don't they know that I have? No, it's like, I got to go out and take some classes.
You got to take a good hard look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And go, okay, if I'm not booking, what am I not doing right?
Right.
Where do I need to shake it up?
As opposed to what are my agents doing wrong?
Because that's the thing. It's not your agent's job to get you work. It's your agent's job to get you opportunities.
Right.
It's your job to capitalize on them.
Right.
Yeah, those have been big lessons for me.
I think willingness to be humble about that, because if you've been around, the people that I know who've been around for a really long time, and I've seen them go on two different paths. I'm not booking, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm waiting for people to come to me. They don't work anymore. They're done.
Bye-bye.
And I'm not booking. What can I do? You know what? I think I'm a little rusty in this area. I think I'm going to go take a class. Even if they've been doing it for 20, 25 years. It's like there's always something to learn.
Well, I think you're a great example of that, Kay. You have made a hell of a career for yourself doing promo narration and having a great presence. And you decided one day, you know what? I want video games. I'm going to go exercise that muscle.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other thing too, is inside voiceover, the different paths are all also different muscles. Video games are different from animation, or different from promo, or different from commercial. Yeah. And the fact that you took the onus to go do that, take the class, and booked massive characters that we can't talk about yet, I think that speaks tremendously to your humility and to your want for more.
Well, thank you. I just kind of had this moment of remembering that I came to Los Angeles to be an actress, and that it was like, well, why don't you go remember who you are?
Go do that.
Yeah, go do that. So, and it's been so much fun. You point to that. Like, it's really a fun job, and there are many avenues to pursue in voiceover. Yeah. And each of them has their own little piece of fun, I think if we're all willing to open ourselves to what there is to learn in each of those categories, you can have a nice rounded career. Yeah. Where some things might not book for a while, or your style isn't really in right now. Right. So you go, okay, that's fine. I'll wait that out. I'm gonna go do this instead, because I can do this thing, and that's kind of working. Right. Or totally. It's being pliable and being willing to learn. I think so. What do you do to stay motivated in the ebbs?
That's a big question. I find like-minded people. I do workout groups where I can either bring auditions or stuff I want to work on. I do coaching lessons. I do check-ins with my agent. I listen to what's on. Stop fast forwarding through the commercials and actually listen to what's booking, which is really hard to do sometimes. Or, I watch not commercials. I watch cartoons for research, which is amazing.
Pretty fun research.
But that's the thing, is like, if you really sit and listen, just close your eyes and listen. There are voices everywhere, and someone has recorded them. Yeah. And whether it's a promo for tonight on whatever news, or a movie trailer, or a narration for a HGTV show or whatever. There's voices. And so just listening to those, okay, somebody liked that enough to book it. What is it about that they liked?
Yeah.
How is that something I can do? Is that in my wheelhouse? Maybe, maybe not. Let me work on it. But also, I cannot overstate the importance of a mentor, of someone.
Which leads me to my next question, which is, who can you name as being the person who like really gave you a leg up?
I am lucky enough that I have several. Dean Pinero, my agent, who took a chance on me when nobody knew who I was. Mary Lynn Wisner, who kind of took me aside when she was teaching a class that I was in and was like, listen, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You've got this. You can do this. Dave Walsh, who shook me out of a cold spell and helped me refine my voice. Charlie Adler for teaching me how to be a crazy person behind the microphone. I would say you, Kay. And I'm not saying that because I'm sitting here with you, but I had heard your name all the years that I was studying to be a voice actress, and about how not only amazingly talented you were, but how kind you were. And meeting you only solidified that. And so having you say, wow, you're kind of good. It's a nice little confidence boost, Well,
thank you again. And I do want to say that, I think it was the second time that we had met. It might have been the first, but I think it was the second. We were at a voiceover workshop at Mary Lynn Wisner's. And we were with Andrea Toyas, who it was a gaming workshop. And Andrea had, various pieces of copy. And so I picked, 2 or 3, whatever we picked, right? And the first one I was going to read was like the voice of an evil queen, right? And you went in, I was right behind you. I was sort of going to be next in line after you went in the booth. And you went into the booth and you had the same piece of copy and you read this, this evil queen. And I listened and I was like, I need to get another piece of copy because I couldn't, it was like, it was such a great audition. I mean, a great character and it was I felt like you hit every note of it. And so if I was going to come in behind you, I felt like there wasn't anything to improve upon. And so I just kind of quietly, shuffled through the copy and picked myself something else. But that, that's inspiring to me. Like, wow, that, I learned a lot from you. The abandon with which you approached this copy, it's like you were 175%. You know what I mean?
I have no problem making an idiot out of myself.
Well, you didn't make an idiot out of yourself. You just went all in. And I think if there's the one thing I've learned for myself in animation and video games, that's the thing that's been the most challenging to me has been to go 150%, because I tend to be more subtle, more quiet, more, smaller choices. I move in tiny increments toward things, and so that's been like, I gotta go big or go home, so, yeah. So it's one of the great things I think about going to a class, because there are people there who've been there, who are new to voiceover. There are people who've been around a long time. And if you open your eyes, you don't just learn from the director who's there, you learn from the talent in the room. Mostly, I think. So I appreciate that. And I've met several people at workshops whose work has really inspired me in new ways. But it's not about me, it's about you. So sorry.
No, but again, like I would say, finding a mentor, someone who believes in you when you are at your lowest, who says to you, yeah, I get it, you're in a dry spell, but that won't last forever.
Right. Or
who says to you, yes, you've got this, when all you're hearing in your own head is no. That will get you through a lot. And that has gotten me through a lot. Yeah. And those people that I mentioned are friends, and they're people that I hold near and dear to my heart, because they're genuine. They're not blowing smoke. They're not trying to, I don't even know how you ride on someone's coattails and voice. You know what I mean? But not that I have any freaking coattails to ride on, but they're good people who want good things for you. And finding people that genuinely do that for you is, it's winning.
One of the best things about voiceover, and I imagine that you would concur, is that It is so collaborative.
Yeah.
And
So supportive.
it's really supportive. And I think when you're a voice actor who can look at a script that's well written, and work with other characters who are really well fleshed out, and you realize that you're just a part of the whole, but everybody else, every other part that makes up the whole is so great. And it's so rare that it feels like it's about one person. And that's just a lovely thing.
I would also go a step further and say, people ask me, what do you love about voiceover? And I will say, it does not matter what I look like. It matters what I bring to the table.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I need to gain weight, lose weight, be blonde, be brunette, blah, 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 be younger, be older, whatever. Yeah. I have been a 60-something cranky pants. I've been a nail file. I've been an alien. I've been a dragon. I've been a little kid. I've been a middle-aged whatever. I've been a mom. But it just matters what I bring.
Yeah.
What my acting choices are, not what shirt I put on that morning.
Yeah.
And I think it makes me mentally healthier, not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. I love everything about it.
You have a home studio.
I do.
Tell me about your home studio.
It used to be a whisper room, and then I had another kid.
And now your baby sleeps in there?
My baby sleeps in the whisper room. I'm like, shh. No, now we had to sell the whisper room, but now it's a closet that I've converted with some sound panels and a shotgun mic, much like we're speaking into now. And I probably do 80% of my auditions from there and 20% of my jobs, but it's imperative to have anymore.
So what hardware and software do you use?
I have a Sennheiser 416 shotgun. I love Sennheiser. I have a MacBook. I am currently using Adobe Audition. However, they have gone to a monthly subscription. And so I haven't updated my iOS in like 3 years because I don't want to pay $20 a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. I'll probably have to go to Pro Tools.
No, you don't. Oh my God. No.
Okay.
Go to Twisted Wave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll do Twisted Wave then.
Pro Tools is, I said it last time, it's like driving a 747 to the grocery store. You don't need it.
Okay.
Truly.
I love Adobe Audition. I'm not ready to shell out $20 a month for it.
Well, Twisted Wave is like $89 one time fee, and it's super easy. And
I use it on my phone and my iPad.
Yeah.
Twisted Wave.
Well, then there you go. So you're familiar with it.
Yeah,
it's great.
I also have I have a little travel rig that I carry with me all the time because you get a lot of last minute auditions for trailers and stuff like that, and so I have like a little Apogee mic that I'll plug into my iPhone and record in my car on Twisted Wave. And I've not only booked, but also there are some
work.
they have taken my audition and just plugged it into the trailer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I have a whole new travel rig. I'm just so excited. Townsend Coleman helped me figure out my travel rig, which I can't wait to show you what it is because you're gonna die. It's just so great. It's like, where is it? I'm gonna open all the drawers during this podcast. This is my travel rig.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Shure.
Sure it is.
Sure, it's a Shure. Okay, so this right here, I don't know what it is. It's a Shure X2U.
Okay.
And you plug this into your Sennheiser and USB into your computer.
And that's your preamp.
And it has, you can monitor your headphone, right? You plug your headphones into it, right? So you got monitor, levels here. You got volume, and you have gain for the mic.
Wow.
It is astounding, the sound quality.
Wow.
It's astounding. So
then
that's
you have to travel with your Sennheiser.
I know, but okay. But compared to what I was, I was using an AT4050.
Oh, wow.
Like a big diaphragm mic and not an M box. I don't know what the heck I had. It was just too big. It was, I remember showing it to Townsend and he's like, oh my, what, you carry that around with you?
How's your back?
Yeah. He's like, this will fit in your purse, which is
awesome.
True. So anyway, it's great. And I used it here and I'm like, wow, wow, this is like really great sound. It's amazing.
That's great.
So, yeah, that was a nice diversion for me. We got our geek on there. Got our little back in the drawer. Okay, so we're going to play Beehive Roulette.
All right, bring the roulette.
Unless there's one more question I want to ask you. You were talking about your studio and your travel rig. Tell me more about your travel rig. You have an Apogee mic.
I have an Apogee mic, and it's a little canister about 6 inches long.
Is it a USB mic?
It's a USB mic, and it just plugs straight in, so you don't have to have the preamp and everything else, and you can hold the microphone in your hand. It has a little stand with it, so you don't get the...
I had one. I think I still do somewhere. I'm sitting on a shelf.
It's $80, and it plugs right into my device, my iPad or my iPhone.
Yeah.
And, usually if I record in a car, it's quiet enough. If I'm in a garage, it's even better. And blammo.
And blammo.
And blammo.
That's a specific voiceover word. Blammo.
It is. It's an industry term.
It's an industry term. And it usually comes animated.
Totally.
Blammo.
Totally. It's onomatopoeia at its best.
Yes. So, we're going to play Beehive Roulette.
Yes.
So I have a list of, I need some theme music for Beehive Roulette. Something akin to da 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 da, but not that. But it does deserve some theme music, so I got to come up with that.
I concur.
So I have a list of 50 questions, 10 of which you will answer.
All right.
I say that like it's in order.
Hey.
You will answer the questions.
You will answer question. Deal.
And you will like it. So there's a list of 50 questions. You're going to answer 10 of them. Okay. And you pick the numbers.
Number 50.
Name something most people don't know about you.
I grew up in Idaho.
What, sorry. I was going to ask a secondary question, but I'm not sure that's allowed in Beehive Roulette.
I don't know.
Just what city?
Boise.
Okay, Boise.
And fun fact, my parents still live in the same house they bought 3 years before I was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on.
You don't find that very often.
No, you don't. Okay, next number.
7.
If you were another person, would you be friends with you?
I think so.
Why?
I tend to put other people's wants and needs at a pretty high priority for myself.
So you're a generous friend.
I think so.
I concur. I would have to testify to that.
I'm also a dork and I like to have fun.
Okay, next question.
13.
How many push-ups can you do?
25.
You're strong.
I used to be able to do like 100.
Really?
So, yeah, I
in one thing?
Because before I joined the workforce in the Silicon Valley, I'd applied to work for the CIA, and you have to pass a physical fitness test.
Okay, so I just want to mention that when question number 50, name something most people don't know about you. You say I'm from Boise, Idaho, when you could have said I applied to be in the
for a job to work for the CIA. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do 25.
So I can do 25. I used to be able to do 100, and I used to be able to do 30 pull-ups.
Wow.
I was in crazy good shape. Now I have mom bod. Yeah. Moving on.
Soft like pillows. It's hard these days. I mean, I think I can do like 40 push-ups, but in sets, like 4 sets of 10.
Yeah.
I got to rest in between.
Oh, yeah.
Sit in my lounge chair, my Barca lounger, just for a minute to take the weight off. Okay, next question.
38.
Name a favorite childhood memory.
I remember going on a hiking trip with my dad and my brother when I was about, 9, maybe younger. And we were gone for a week. We went through the Idaho wilderness with everything that we had on our backpacks. So we had to fish for dinner, and if we didn't catch fish, we didn't eat. We went picking berries during the day for snack. We would go swimming in these pristine little beautiful rivers, and we came across an old homestead from the 1800s that still had some lace-up shoes in it.
Wow.
We saw all manner of wildlife, bears and deer and elk and moose. And I had to share a tent with my older brother. And I woke up to him one morning singing, "Talk about sunny days, everything's A-okay." And he was 3 years older than me, and I was like, "Oh, you're such a dork." But I love that.
And how old were you?
I was like 9 or 10.
Okay, next question.
42.
What's your favorite cocktail?
Ooh, bourbon old fashioned. Yeah.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, next.
21.
Who do you miss the most?
Oh, man. That's a toss-up. Either my grandmother or my cousin. My grandmother was just this amazing force in my life, and I miss her every day, and my cousin as well. And I will leave it at that.
All right. Next.
29.
What's the first thing you notice about people you're attracted to?
Their sense of humor. I love a good sense of humor. Number 4.
Do you like your handwriting?
No. I'm a lefty. Actually, I'm ambidextrous. So I do almost everything with my right hand, but I write with my left hand.
Oh, interesting.
So I have this like awful chicken scratch handwriting. Like it looks like someone has Tourette's like writing. It's awful. And I like every now and then I'll be like, I'm going to try to make my handwriting flowery. And it looks like my cat got a hold of a pencil and was like, meow, meow, you know. So long story. No, I do not.
Okay, next.
Number 2.
What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Yes.
I'm a water bearer.
This is part B to 2. What's your rising? Do you know?
God, I have no idea.
You have no idea? Okay, wow. You really need to get in a little more into astrology.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, next.
30.
What's your favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
Water. I like water.
Do you like water?
I like water.
I'm a little envious
I
of
drink
that.
a lot of water. A
I
lot
like,
of water.
I like coffee.
Oh, God. Well, yeah, I mean, coffee. Yeah.
Does that kind of go without saying?
I mean, that's like
Air,
life.
breathing air. Okay, next.
49.
What's your favorite time of day?
I love going into my kids' rooms in the morning and getting them out of bed because they're super cute and snuggly, and it makes me super happy.
So what time of day is that? What time do you get your kids out of bed?
I like 7. Yeah, they're good.
It's somewhat civilized.
They sleep pretty well.
Yeah.
I have friends whose kids will get up at 5 and come like slap their face and be like, "Daddy, wake up!" And that is not my kid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, they
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
They know what would happen to them. Okay, next.
Whisper room for you.
Yeah, exactly.
31.
What's your dream vacation spot?
I would say like an island somewhere, but isn't that kind of overplayed? I don't know.
No, it's just your dream. Who cares about other people's dreams where they want to be?
Here's the thing. I love to travel. I love to see all manner of places on this planet. So any place I would get to go is happiness for me. How's
Good
that
answer.
for non-committal?
Totally. It's totally non-committal. Okay. I think you have 2 more.
47.
47. What's the furthest you've been from home?
The furthest I've been from home would either be in Taiwan or in Argentina. Yeah.
Okay. You pick one more.
33.
33. Okay. What's your favorite type of food?
I love Japanese food. I love Japanese cuisine, and I love Japanese food, and I love sake, and I love green tea, and I love sushi, and I love ramen, and I love all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Okay. Now there's one more question, which I get to ask.
Okay.
And that is, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
They've seen, and they miss you too.
Cissy Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
BAFTA winner, Cissy Jones. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today in the Beehive. For podcast notes, pictures, and more information on my guests, visit the podcast website, thebeehivepodcast.com. Find me at my website, kbess.com. Follow me on Twitter at kbess, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. If you've a mind to, please post a review of the podcast on iTunes. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and good for the bones. Come back for more women in voiceover next time in the Beehive.